to In Pursuit with Pastor Bill.
Hey, I'm just a simple guy in pursuit of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, wild game, fish that swim under the ice, tender smoked meat, tasty grilled meat, and Denise.
In this hour, we are going to be talking about all of that and a whole lot more. Bill has been with Maranatha since 2005 and the campus pastor at Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus since 2011. Come along and join In Pursuit. Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm like, are you expecting the radio people to answer?
No. This is Denise.
I'm Alice.
I'm Cindy.
I'm James.
Yeah, so Bill isn't here today, so we are a different crew, but a very excited crew to lead this charge for the next hour. Bill had a prior commitment, so he is unable to be here. So the rest of us kind of just joined our forces, and we were like, "Yeah, we're gonna make this happen." So I'm excited to be here.
Oh yeah,
it's good.
Mm-hmm.
It's good. So what are all the updates? What are the springtime? What is spring bringing into your world?
Well, for me, we had this lovely day, and I thought, ooh, perfect to rake out all the leaves from my flower bed and get it all ready. And so I'm raking away, and I uncovered a rabbit nest.
Aww.
And they were so cute. They
Yeah,
were
rabbits are cute unless they're eating your garden.
Yes.
Yeah.
They were about 2.5 inches big with these little tiny ears and all huddled together. And Jason said I couldn't have them. So I covered them back up. Hoped Mom would come back, and she did. But I still haven't raked out my flower garden.
Yeah, you gotta let them grow a little bit more, huh? Yeah. So we had some exciting things happen in our family sphere. Arthur was born this week.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so I'm sure Bill will talk about that more next week. His mom's birthday was Monday. His daughter's birthday's today, so happy birthday, Emma. And then Arthur was born yesterday, so the family's a buzzin'. It's a buzzin'.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Yes. Well, for me, spring has brought bifocals.
Are you going to tell them what you think about your glasses?
Yes, I will. I feel they drop my IQ significantly, and they're my dumber downers, because ever since I put them on, things that normally would not be an issue for me have become huge issues. Finding places on the screen when Alice is trying to teach me something new, and I'm like, where? She's like, right there to make it. So yes.
Yeah. So in all compassion, this morning I said, it's possibly not your glasses, but the reason you have to wear glasses now. And she didn't accept that.
Nope. I will not accept that ever.
Yep, that's okay. It's okay. The glasses are dumber downers. We understand.
Yes.
Yeah. James, you got anything new with spring for you?
We went to IKEA and got curtains, and that was
so
very
exciting.
fun. Yeah, so we realized that. So we're trying to pay off our debt and buy a house in the next year or two, and
Good.
so
Noble goals.
yeah. I just want to own something so bad.
Yeah.
But anyway, so trying to figure out what the goal is. We want more space because we have a studio apartment or whatever. But we were I think it's just best to re-sign our lease and then stick it out one more year in this place. And so Scott was like, well, we didn't go all out decorating because, we thought we were only going to be here 8 more months or whatever. And we just wanted to, because originally the plan was just to get a bigger place, but we're now our goals are kind of getting more refined. So we went to IKEA and finished decorating, which was getting curtains and new pillow covers and just all that type of stuff that you don't necessarily do unless you're going to be there for a while.
Make it feel like home.
Yeah, more homey, and picture frames and a cool lamp. It's a circle lamp. It's it's omnidirectional, so it's just a bulb that sits on a shelf, and it looks really cool. So
that's neat.
Yeah, so we just spent the day, did all that type of stuff. That was really fun, and then cleaned some stuff. So
I'm still stuck on the curtains. So you now have curtains in the bedroom.
Yeah, well, we always had we always had curtains that you like. There's like a little chain, and you pull the chain down, and it pulled the blind down. But so that was like, it was between. I think at IKEA it goes privacy, and then like half cover, and then blackout.
Yeah.
And so it's in between the privacy and the full cover, if that makes sense. And then so we got one that was like kind of middle of the pack, like it would let in a little bit of light, but pretty much darken the room. And then for the living room, we got one that was like you could still see through it if you look close enough, so it just looks really nice. So that was fun.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I'm a curtain girl myself.
Really?
I mean, I love having curtains to pull. Like people have said, it's like you're a bat because I don't pull the curtains back. I like people not being able to see me.
Yeah.
So I just call it the bat cave and just close every shade. I just don't want to be a fishbowl.
Yeah.
I like curtains, like cloth curtains.
Yeah.
But with cats, no.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They rip it out.
Yeah.
They rip you down.
Especially with the new kitten. Oh, my stars.
Yeah.
She just zips everywhere.
Yeah. Uses it like a vine in Tarzan. That's what a kitten does. They just grab on and swing. Yeah. Also, with the baby being born, we have Walter. We love Walter. He's mommy and daddy's puppy. Then they just had Arthur, and so we're watching the puppy. And he's a big puppy, so he's like a teenager kind of more. And he is enjoying the springtime influx of animals onto the property.
I bet.
He gets his big boy bark out. Like when he's playing, he's kind of, yeah. But then when he's terrified. He's terrified because he hears a deer snorting at him or stomping at him, and he gets his big boy bark out. And it's
funny.
Very cute. We also have the influx of a fox on our property, and he has almost cleared out our flock.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's almost gotten everyone one at a time.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, yesterday Bill saw him chasing a chicken, so he ran out, and we couldn't. She's got a rip in her, and so we're trying to save her life. But we've got a fox, and we know that she's probably got a den somewhere, and there's going to be a whole lot more foxes. And,
Oh boy.
Yeah, so we need to build a bigger run and just try and nurse this chicken back to health. Our rooster isn't protecting very well.
That's crazy.
But you know what? We got him. He's the best rooster. He's just so calm and like never charged the grandkids and never came after me. Or he's just a great rooster. But I think because he was a second place rooster in the flock he grew up in, he never learned the I've got to protect the flock thing.
Yeah.
So that's why he's not aggressive, and therefore he doesn't necessarily protect the flock from what's coming at him, which is why we wanted him. So not working real well.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, sad.
Our rooster met a bullet.
Oh dear.
Yeah, he got really, really mean. He was so friendly in the beginning, and he would run up and want to be pet, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
He just
something
became
changed.
mean. I'd walk out to the car, and he'd start attacking me.
Oh
and
dear. Yeah, you can't have a rooster that attacks.
No.
But you want one that attacks the fox that's trying to get the hens.
Absolutely.
So there's a delicate balance in there somewhere that we did not find. So that's
Well,
good.
Jason ran out of the house once barefoot
Yeah.
because a fox actually had one of our chickens in his mouth.
Yeah.
And he chased the fox down, and he said, I don't know what I'm going to do when I get there. But the fox was so scared, he
dropped the
dropped the chicken, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen her since.
Oh, that's good. I'm hoping this one doesn't come back since Bill went after it. But yeah, our flock is almost gone.
That's so crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's a beautiful fox, and I know she's just doing what she's supposed to do, but
Not with your
sometimes
chickens.
on the other side of that coin is us doing what we're supposed to do, and that's eating eggs from our chickens.
Yeah.
Well, just get like 20 chickens, and you won't miss 5 or 6.
No. Our coop isn't big enough for 20 chickens. Yeah. So anyway, hey, you got any springtime sports updates for us?
Oh yeah.
I don't even know what sports are in the springtime.
Yeah.
What's
so
going on?
in the spring, you have the NBA has their playoffs usually, and then the National Hockey League, same thing. And then you've got baseball, which is I think they're like a quarter of the way through the season. I could be wrong about that. But I've been watching the Wolves pretty closely. And so they're playing in a series right now against our rivals, which is the Denver Nuggets. And so the series started out with a loss for us, and then game 2 comes around, and that's actually the game I went to with my siblings.
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, and so, but you get the nosebleeds of the nosebleeds, but cause I mean, it's a playoff game, but it was just like insane, and the Wolves like came out swinging, and so it was a really decisive, like dominant victory. And then game 3 rolls around, same thing, just same stuff. They're just performing really well, and so game 4 rolls around, and both or like 2 of our I'm getting the timeline mixed up here. Game 3 is when our like star player Anthony Edwards and another backcourt starter, which just means he's the one like shooting the ball the most, and they both got injured, and it's almost season ending for Anthony Edwards and season ending for Dante DiVincenzo, which is the other guy that got injured.
That's a cool name, DiVincenzo.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's like one of my favorites.
Sorry.
But yeah, so he tore his Achilles, which is just like that ends your season and probably most of next season too. But so now the eyes are looking to the Timberwolves bench, which couldn't perform on Thursday. No, well, they played a game recently, game 4, which didn't go our way, and so game 5 is tonight. So we'll see how that goes. We're up 3-2 on the series, and they're first to 4 series. Our first to 4 wins.
Okay.
But Wild are in a similar place. I think they're up 3-2 in the Minnesota Wild, the hockey team. They're up 3-2 in their series against Dallas right now. So we'll see how that plays out.
That's exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Exciting sports stuff.
Jade and I were watching the game where Edwards got hurt.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we just
That
cringed.
replay?
Yes.
So he hyperextended his leg.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to block a layup. And so his momentum is going behind him, basically, so he's falling backwards, and he puts his leg down, and I'm showing it with my finger, but it just fully hyperextended like this, and
yuck.
you see the jolt go through his whole body, and then he's just on the ground, and it's just like... And I was already sick to my stomach because I just watched Dante DiVincenzo's Achilles tendon pop. You can see it on camera. You can see it pop.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, oh my... I'm already sick to my stomach, and then that happens, and the Wolves ended up winning that game, but... it was just horrendous. It's just the worst, but yeah, so.
Yeah, watching replays can be bad sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, if you're listening, text in one of us.
Yes.
And you all are so good. You texted anyway. So we've got Chris listening. We've got Bill listening. We've got Heather listening, and she says "girl power today" plus James. So that's right.
Nice.
3 of us sitting in the booth. James is producing. So yeah, it's good. Thanks for all being here. You guys rock.
Peyton texted me, and her and the boys are listening while they're cleaning.
Super exciting.
Yes.
And saying that you're cleaning, that's good.
Yeah, they had little daddy motivation behind it.
Oh, good. It's good parental motivation. That's good.
Yes.
I love it. Well, we have an interesting show ahead of us today. So when we found out that Bill couldn't be here, we kind of all sat together and we're like, well, is he going to have to find somebody to do this, or are we going to take over and do this, for him? And yeah, and we all kind of just decided, we're going to do this. And so what we pulled out was we are going to bring some of the scriptures that are speaking loudest to us right now, and bring the takeaway for each of us to you, and give you possibly something to chew on or something to take away today. And so we are excited about that. We've got 4 little spots that we're going to bring to you with some applicable things in there. And so before we take our bottom of the hour break, which is a little bit early, but that's okay, we are going to hear our word of the week.
Word of the week. This is the part of the show where Denise and Bill learn new words in pursuit of knowledge and understanding of the English language, and so they can sound smarter.
So this word I'm bringing today is truly a moment in my in my past where I thought, what is that word? Because I am bringing you the word crevasse today. And the first time I heard crevasse, I had only ever heard the word crevice. And someone said crevasse. They said crevasse. Let's go something about the crevasse. And I'm like, ooh, didn't you really fancy up that word? Because it's crevice. And so I'm like, am I wrong? Because if I hear a word that I don't understand or it just sounds off to me, I'll go and look it up. And there is such a word as crevasse. It's not crevasse. So the crevasse. So there is a crevasse, which means a breach in a levee or a deep crevice or fissure, as in a glacier of the earth. So I'm going to read what I've got here because comparing crevice and crevasse, crevice and crevasse is so interesting to me because of the similarities of the word, but there's such a difference in their definition. Not such a difference in their definition. There really is. Anyway, so it repeats a little bit because I was glomming on from other things in the online. So I repeat a little bit, but I think it's valuable so that you don't ever try and say crevasse and make yourself look foolish when it should be crevice or crevasse.
Just blame the glasses.
Oh, dear. So crevasse with a second syllable that rhymes with mass is a very deep, big crack, especially when in a glacier on the Earth's surface. Crevice with a second syllable that rhymes with miss is a small crack in something that forms in an opening into the thing's surface, as opposed to a hairline crack, which is thinner and doesn't open up. There's so many words in the English language that say the same thing, but just slight differences so that you sound intelligent or non-intelligent. Do you know what I mean? Crevasse. It's crevasse. Crevasse and crevice come from the same... Don't be doing that, Alice. Crevasse and crevice come from the same French word, the verb crever, meaning to crack. Crevice is older. The first records of it in English come from the 1300s. That's an old word, a crevice. While the first records of crevasse come from the U.S. in the 1800s. Crevice versus crevasse. The word crevice typically refers to small cracks in a surface, such as a wooden table or an old piece of rubber. Crevasse... I almost said crevasse. On the other hand, is a huge opening in something, especially a glacier or the ground. There's no official point at which a crevice becomes a crevasse, but if it's big enough for you to fall into, then you can definitely call it a crevasse. For middle-of-the-road openings, it's probably best to avoid crevice or crevasse and instead opt for a word like fissure, which can refer to an opening of any size. That's your tip for sounding intelligent. Don't use either if you don't know how big the gap is.
Okay.
Yeah, there. The difference in pronunciation can also help you remember the difference in meaning. The second syllable of crevasse rhymes with mass, which means big. Now, we know if we don't use our new word, we will... Did you guys ever know that there was a crevasse as compared to a crevice?
Yes.
No.
Okay. And then did you say crevasse?
I did not.
I've never even said that word once in my entire life. Any of those.
No, you haven't said either?
No, I don't think so.
I've used the word crevice
I have
before.
as well.
Yeah, but crevasse?
No.
I had never heard it. And then when someone said crevasse, I'm like, well, aren't you pronouncing that wrong? So wrong. I was so wrong. So we know if we don't use our new word, we will lose our new word. So I'd like to use our new word in a sentence. And in this sentence, I'm using the word metaphorically, which is allowable.
Okay.
In our marriage class, Bill explains that if you have an incident between you and your spouse that puts a crevice in your relationship, when you don't acknowledge it and fix it, the crevice will become a crevasse, which is much harder to fix.
Ooh, that's good.
That's a good picture, isn't
That
it?
is.
Yes.
He uses the word wedge instead of crevice. If it drives a wedge and you don't take it out, it gets deeper, But these words fit that.
They do.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
do very well.
And that's our word of the week.
You're listening to In Pursuit with me, Pastor Bill, a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. If you would like to visit Maranatha Chisago Lakes campus, we have 4 weekend services to choose from. visit MaranathaChisago.org to learn more and to check out some past messages.
It's good to be here. It's good to be here.
It's very good to be here.
There's no crevasses in this room.
No, none.
But we miss Bill.
We do. That kind of does make a crevasse, doesn't it?
Yes.
Kind of a huge hole when he's missing. Yeah. So I know he's listening. We miss you. Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, we'd like to get right to it because all four of us have something we'd like to bring to you today. And if we don't get to all four of them, it's okay. But we'll start with Alice and her take on a particular scripture that's speaking to her.
Yeah, I've been going through Judges, and the first thing that struck me is how violent everything is in that book. But the one that stood out to me was Judges 3:12 through 30, which is about the judge Ehud. I'm assuming I'm pronouncing that right.
That's how I'd pronounce it.
That's how I did.
I don't know if anybody knows how to pronounce
Yeah,
words.
you just kinda read
you listen to Bible on, the versions, and they can say
Anything.
they pronounce things differently. Like, how do you pronounce that word? And then you listen to it, and then the next time you're listening to it, it's a different pronunciation. And so I think nobody really knows. Okay. Anyway, so
Okay.
Ehud.
So when the Israelites became far away from God, and then they were worshiping all these idols, a guy named Eglon, all the fun words, came in and started taking over everything, and the Israelites got tired of him, and they cried out to God, and so God pulled up Ehud as a judge, and he was left-handed, which wasn't a socially ew, you're left-handed moment, but it was different. So he was a different kind of man to be a judge. And he went in to give tribute to Eglon. Eglon, I don't know which one I used. It's changing just like in the Bible. And after he had given his tribute, he said, look, I've got a special message for you. And so Eglon sent everybody else away, and Ehud, because nobody had checked him on his left side for his knife, or I think it was actually his right side where he kept it. When Eglon stood up, Ehud took his knife and stabbed Eglon. Now, Eglon was so fat that the knife went all the way into his body, the hilt and everything, and spilled his guts all over the ground. And Ehud just left the knife in there. I wouldn't want to pull it out either. That's icky.
Mm-hmm.
This is a perfect lunch hour show.
It gets better from here. Well, with other people's stories, not this one. It gets worse. And so Ehud then locked all the doors to the room and had to escape. Now, in those days, they would often put the toilets or the latrines in the same room because, I don't know, they weren't scared that other people would see them doing their business.
I don't know.
That's crazy talk to me.
Yeah.
They would often have like a loo that had 15 seats in it for 15 people to be sitting
Not in a room, though.
in one room.
Really?
Yeah.
In a palace? I thought it would be like a public bathroom out.
I don't know, it could be, but I saw some in palaces as well.
Either way, no thanks.
So Eglon had one of these, or several of them, I don't know, in this room that was locked up that he was gathering all the tributes with. And so Ehud had to escape this because he now just killed somebody. So he went down the loo, or the latrine, which would have been just a wide open pipe that went to the room below so that all the servants could take away everything.
Ew.
I know that sounds worse.
Wow.
So talk about ick and stink. Yeah. But this stood out to me, this story, because God called Ehud to do this. Not necessarily to go down the latrine, but he often asks us to do messy things. And not to look at something God is calling you to do as, oh, that's messy, so it can't be from God. Because some things just are.
Nice.
Yeah. So have you read that story before? Or is this your first time reading that story?
I read it a long time ago, so it probably just went right over my head.
Yeah.
Wow.
It just speaks to you a little different now because you are maturing in your faith, wanting to do more, and you're recognizing that God asks us to do things that are different sometimes and can be messy.
Yeah. And that just because we're different from society, because he was left-handed, doesn't mean God won't use you either.
That's a good takeaway.
Nice.
Good takeaway.
It's good.
Cool.
Anybody else got comments on that?
I think it's really good. I like the way you put it. It's very, very simple, but very expansive.
Yeah, that's
Thank
good.
you.
That's good. It's good to read the Bible. There's theological things that come to you, and then God can speak in specific stories to you in ways that apply to you at that moment. And you can read that same story the next year and have it bring something else up into you. So that's what when it says that the Bible is the living, active Word of God, that's what I take it as. It's like it's continually moving and growing you. It's impressing new ideas on you, or chastising you, or convicting you for different things at different points in your life. It grows. You grow as the Bible is growing in you. Yeah. So it's good. Who would like to bring their next story?
I will.
Okay. Cindy.
Cindy, this is me, Cindy. I was looking through a list. I pulled out something that I've had since college, a list of women in the Bible, and and somewhere in the middle of that list was Anna, and I'm like, oh, okay, I remember Anna going through missionettes. She was one of our star. Yes.
Susanna, Tabitha, Anna, and Ruth.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
We're both AG
I was
girls.
just going to say,
Yes,
holy
that's
AG kid.
Holy EG.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh, well, I don't remember much about Anna. So I, got some of my books and even got my Bible and, looked her up. And there's only 3 verses that totally captures her life and her dedication to God. Where Ruth has a whole book to her, about her and her journeys and whatever. And Esther has, book, and other women have portions of books, but Anna just has 3 little verses. And they basically show us that she was a prophetess, and she lived in the temple. She was married for 7 years, and she was widowed, and so she just was a woman just fully dedicated to God, and she lived in the temple, and she was older in age. She was 84. It's believed that that's when she was widowed, and she prayed, fasted, and worshiped God for days and nights. I mean, that's what she did because she loved God so much.
Wow.
Yes, and her name means grace or favor, and some characteristics were that she was devoted, prayerful, patient, and because of her patience and her willingness to go through hard things, I can imagine living at a temple after being widowed and and just having been married for only 7 years. I think I might be a little bitter and not want to.
Could be. Yep.
Wow.
But she stayed faithful through the hard times, and because of that, she when Mary and Joseph brought Jesus to the temple, she knew exactly, God had revealed to her that, Jesus was the Messiah, the chosen one, and that he would basically change the world.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like people waited they were waiting for the Messiah to come, and she, because of her faithfulness, got to see him. That's cool.
Not only did she get to see him, but God revealed basically his plan for Jesus' life to her, that he would be the one.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yes, and just lost my train of thought. Must be the glasses. Anna served, God daily when, nobody really was watching her. There was no big spotlight on Anna. Cute Anna here, bonk. But she remained faithful in her little life. Well, it's not little, but her life, and she was able to make an impact because once she knew that Jesus was there and the Messiah and who he was, she went out and told everybody. And so God just used her in a great way, even though to some people it was a very small way.
Yeah. And I think it's neat that she was a prophetess because it can seem like women weren't used as much in the Bible by the Lord, but they were. All the way through, God doesn't keep himself from using women.
Right.
They're equally important. And so I love that Anna is in the Bible. I love that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Faithful in little things. So anybody else got anything to say?
Where was it? Did I miss that bit of where her story is?
Oh, thank you. It is in Luke chapter 2, verses 36 through 38.
Cool.
Nice.
Cool beans.
So
Yes.
I'm just going to ask this. Has anybody had God reveal something to them?
You mean like in Anna's case? Or?
Yeah, just even a little thing.
Yeah, that's a hard on-the-spot kind of
Well,
question.
I know.
All of us are staring at each other
Right.
like, why did she ask us that question?
Okay, so this is really for the audience out there. Stop and think about, has God shown you anything?
Yeah. I
Nice.
think in individual instances, I can't think of anything right now where
Right.
God reveals something to me and I go, oh, that's the Lord.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that's the Lord.
And isn't it cool?
Yeah, it's neat. It is neat. Not
Have
that I've
you,
always been
Alice?
faithful.
Have I? Oh, yeah. In Scotland, I was walking along the river and just praying that, because there was a big thing going on with our property there, and I wanted to know if we were going the right direction. And I'm just walking along with the dogs, and there is a perfect stone about an inch big with a perfect cross on it, and I knew that was from God as a sign. And I knew that this was God's plan. So it was really cool.
That is very
Wonderful.
cool.
Yep, very cool.
Nice.
James, would you like to bring something
Yeah,
to
I
us
can
today?
go next.
Okay.
So I, like 3 or 2 years ago, thought I was gonna sit down and read the Bible cover to cover. So like in my daily devotions, I was just gonna go at my own pace. So I'm 3 years in. So, but just trying to go cover to cover. And when I crossed over 2 Kings, it was the first time in a while that something had really kind of like hit me in the face. In chapter 9, the next king of Israel is anointed, and it's Jehu. And so he was a commander in the military, and Elisha summoned one of the young prophets who were kind of following Elisha, and told him, tuck in your cloak, get this flask of olive oil, we're going to anoint the next king of Israel. And at the time it was Ahaziah, king of Israel. And so this young prophet goes to where Jehu was, and summons Jehu. Jehu meets the prophet, and they anoint him king. over Israel. And so it was done in secret because Ahaziah was a very terrible king and probably would have caused a ruckus. And so, let's see here. So he goes and does it. And part of what the Lord had called Elisha to anoint Jehu was to basically lead a very aggressive military campaign against the kings of Judah and Israel. Very aggressive military campaign to basically purge Israel of the evil that was happening from the leadership down. And so, they were doing, there was a bunch of evil practices, whether it was idol worship, and then Jezebel still in power. Her son is the king, evil, just from the top down, just evil all throughout. And so Jehu does his job, leads a very, very violent military campaign all the way through Israel. And I mean, the next heading is, let's see here. Yeah, Jezebel killed. But what I want to talk about is what kind of character Jehu was. And this is what stuck out to me. So Jehu is a very interesting character to me. So let's see here. I'm going to get to the passage. I'm going to read the passage. And then that kind of jumped out to me. So the lookout in Israel, when Jehu was approaching with his military campaign, the lookout reported, he has reached them, but he isn't coming back either. And so he's talking about he was sending out probes to see if Jehu would chill out a little bit.
People to come and confront him and ask him before he reached the castle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he didn't know it was Jehu yet, this lookout. He was just trying to probe and see, are you going to try and kill us? What's going on? And Jehu wouldn't let the probes back. So the lookout reported he has reached them, but he isn't coming back either. The driving is like that of Jehu, son of Nimshi. He drives like a maniac. And that is actually the second time he's referred to as a maniac. So he's got a reputation as being
Sometimes Bill drives like a maniac. Just to put that in there.
Yeah. And that's actually the second time that he's referred to as a maniac. When he's being anointed, one of the officers that received Jehu into the home to basically anoint him, he's like, is everything all right? Why'd you bring this maniac with you?
Oh, no.
Talking to the prophet. So he's got this reputation. I think there's just a couple of things that I thought we could learn, because ultimately he is successful, except he doesn't eradicate the golden idols from Israel. He leaves those.
Oh.
And so, there's a consequence from the Lord in regard to that. But I think there's a couple things we could learn. So I've got a 4-point sermon. And
Love it.
No, I just think that there's a couple of things we could learn. So a lot of times you'll hear the analogy Israel coming into these nations and eradicating when they're going through the wilderness and establishing their homeland. You hear about how, there's an analogy between these foreign countries that are sinful and our sin in our life, and how Jesus' presence, as long as we invite him, we can eradicate, that sin.
Sure.
And we can start to fight that. And so that's what Jehu does in Israel. And I think that there's something to be said about just being very aggressive with your sin. And if you know that there's something in your life that is going against the Lord, or maybe the will of the Lord, it's really important that we are aggressive with it. And, Jesus talks about, if your eye causes you to sin, gouge it out. That's aggressive. That's a principle that I think we're not always privy to, if that makes sense. And so just being aggressive with it. So for me, social media is a big thing that kind of weighs me down. I just waste time, or, it's just things come up and it's just not good. And I think that instead of being I'll just put a time limit on it and not use it, I'll only use it an hour a day or whatever. I think it's, there's something to be said about just deleting it and just allowing myself to grow out of it in that way.
So we're going to call that Jehuing it.
Yeah, we're going to Jehu it.
Just Jehu it.
Yeah. And then, there's a whole bunch of different things. Pastor Bill mentioned you might look crazy when you're doing the will of the Lord. You might be making moves in your life that you feel the Lord is calling you to that look and sound and feel ridiculous. But, if you have confirmation it's the will of the Lord, I think it's really important that you just go for it. Just you got to Jehu it, because
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy the amount of people he kills in like 3 verses, you know? So, so I think there's just a lot to be said, and the Lord will allow your strength to flourish too. So like Jehu, very aggressive person, you can tell in his leadership style, even when he was a commander. I mean, like his strength flourished when the Lord called him to eradicate it. He was aggressive, and he did it.
Yeah.
So that's just another thing is like, look at what's in your hands. Like, what are you good at? Because the Lord could be calling you to use that. So that's what I got.
Yeah, that's pretty
Wow,
cool.
that is really cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like it. I like how the Lord brought those verses to you, and it makes you Jehu things.
Yeah.
It gives you the courage. It gives you there's a pathway already laid in reading the scriptures, and people have walked that out for you before. I mean, walked that out for themselves before, but we have the scriptures to help us grow and learn. And as you're reading, those jump out at you, and you don't just pass by it. You stop and listen and learn something from it. That's good. That's
I
good.
have things in my life I need to Jehu.
Absolutely, me too.
Yes, it's a new word. It'll be our next word of the week. Yay! The Jehuit. Yeah. So I would like to bring something from Esther. I don't sleep well, and so I listen to the Bible app as I'm going to sleep. And I've listened to the book of Esther, I can't even tell you how many times. I have specific spots in the Bible where I listen, and they're very familiar to me, and that's why it helps me in going to sleep, because it's so familiar. But as I was listening, things will poke out to me, and I'll go, ooh, and then I'm not sleeping anymore. And so this little revelation that I'm going to bring to you today came to me one time as I was listening to it, trying to go to sleep. But I'm going to read scriptures in Esther, and to try and give you a context in case you've never read Esther. And in the book of Esther, I'm actually going to focus on Vashti. She's at the beginning of this book, and she's a minor player, role in this, in this story. But something popped out to me while I was listening to this. So in Esther, it says, at the time of King Xerxes' reign from his royal throne in the citadel of Susa, and in the 3rd year of his reign, he gave a banquet for all his nobles and officials, the military leaders of Persia and Media, the princes and the nobles of the provinces were present. For a full 180 days, he displayed the vast wealth of his kingdom and the splendor and glory of his majesty. When these days were over, the king gave a banquet, lasting 7 days, in the enclosed garden of the king's palace for all the people from the least to the greatest who were in the citadel of Susa. And then I'm jumping down a little bit. On the 7th day, when King Xerxes was high in spirits, he commanded the 7 eunuchs to bring before him Queen Vashti, wearing her royal crown, in order to display her beauty to the people and nobles, for she was lovely to look at. But when the attendants delivered the king's command, Queen Vashti refused to come. Then the king became furious and burned with anger. Since it was customary for the king to consult experts in the matters of law and justice, he spoke with the wise men who understood the times. One of the wise men, Memucan, replied in the presence of the king and the nobles, Queen Vashti has done a wrong, not only against the king, but also against all the nobles and people of the provinces of King Xerxes. For the queen's conduct will become known to all the women, and so they will despise their husbands and say, King Xerxes commanded Queen Vashti to be brought before him, but she would not come. This very day, the Persian and Median women of the nobility who have heard about the queen's conduct will respond to all the king's nobles in the same way. So that stuck out to me because Vashti did something quite unusual. She stood up to the king. So I wrote some thoughts down, and the encouragement that I'd like you to take from this. This is what I took from, I felt like the Lord was bringing to me in the middle of the night, and it lit me up. It was like, yes. So the leadership of the kingdom in Esther was genuinely shaken by Vashti's defiance. Their fear wasn't just about one woman's choice. It was rooted in the realization that Vashti had the power to influence every other woman in the kingdom. It is a striking reminder how one person's decision can change a behavior. One person's decision to change a behavior can create a ripple effect through their entire sphere of influence. Consider, and then this is where it came to me, was because gossip is something that is horrible to me. It's just horrible. And so I thought about this in regards to gossip. Consider the impact of just one person who refused to participate in gossip. While often unfairly stereotyped as a woman's sin, gossip is a trap we all can fall into, men and women alike. So this is for everybody. Frequently, people don't even realize they're doing it, gossiping. They simply fall into the old rut of just sharing juicy tidbits under the guise of being informed or concerned, in the Christian circles concerned. However, if one person in that circle that is gossiping has the courage to call gossip what it is, it's a sin, and refuses to participate, it creates a powerful turning point, potentially a powerful turning point. Those who truly desire to follow biblical truth will be challenged by that standard and may find the strength to change their own habits. One person can truly change the culture of an entire circle of friends. Taking this stand requires courage. So this is where I want to encourage you. Taking a stand, and even just gossip, but this can transpose to other places too. Taking this stand requires courage, whether the issue is gossip or other behaviors that don't honor God, such as speaking poorly of your spouse or losing your temper with your children. I'm not naive to the reality that taking a stand often creates social friction. Like Vashti lost her crown. That's some social friction. Similarly, you may lose friends who are more offended by being challenged than they are being committed to growth. But I want to encourage you, there are communities out there that truly want to honor God with their speech and their lives. Life is far more peaceful when you aren't constantly managing the drama of shared secrets. Always remember this. If someone will gossip to you, they will eventually gossip about you. So whether it's a prayer chain, an office meeting, a church leadership circle, let us be ones who step out and hold to the truth. Choose to break the cycle and see what kind of change follows. Seek out and build friendships that value honor over information. And so laying there and just realizing that in this one tiny character in the book of Esther and in the book of the Bible, Vashti, she stood up against the king, and whether that was right or wrong, it doesn't matter to me. It was in this, it's just in the Bible. But they were nervous because she could affect change in all of the women in the community, in the kingdom.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we as Christians stand up in our circles and take a stand and demand more of ourselves, how can that affect the circle around us? Like the ripple effect around us, to especially, and like I said, gossip is something that I kind of get on a soapbox about because I've been the topic of gossip so many times, and I know how hurtful it is. And I've talked to people who are like, I'm not going to come back to church because they just wanted to talk about me. They just judge me. And it's like, oh, it makes me so mad. Nobody has a right to judge because the Holy Spirit is the one that's supposed to convict us. We aren't supposed to convict other people of their sin. We're supposed to love people. And so the realization that Vashti was chastised and she lost her crown because she could affect change by her decision with everyone in the kingdom, it inspires me. It inspires me to make better choices because people are watching. Doesn't matter who you are. You've got a circle of influence and you can affect change.
Yeah.
Anybody got comments? Am I passionate?
Good stuff.
You are very passionate.
You've inspired me to rethink things in my own life.
Yeah.
So that was a good word.
It's good. And it doesn't matter what it is that God's challenging you with, to say, okay, I'm going to do this. And if there are people, because if God's challenging you with something and you're trying to make a change, we battle against things that aren't flesh and blood.
Right.
They're spiritual battles. And so there's going to come things up against you. And so to make a stand, it can create havoc in your world for a little while. But yeah, it's good.
Nice.
Very good.
Yeah, so let's just sum up. Alice's takeaway today, if you're different than societal norms, God can still use you.
Yes.
So take that to heart. If you don't feel like you fit in, God can still use you. For Anna, for Cindy, stay faithful in the small things and see what God reveals to you. That's so cool. God is faithful to reveal. And then for James's, what he brought, be aggressive with your sin. Jehu it. Jehu it. And that's a good word because that's something that we can tend to cream over, like, oh, this sin isn't so bad because it's mine. But boy, you've got a lot of sin in your world. We need to Jehu it. Yeah. So, and then make good choices. Influence the sphere around you for good, even if if it causes havoc in your world. Well, that's kind of our time for the week. We will see you next week.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
Bye for now. Thanks for joining In Pursuit with Pastor Bill and me, Denise. We hope you will tune in next Thursday at noon as the pursuit continues. In Pursuit is a production of WAJC, Your Life Radio, on 88.1 and 91.7 FM. WAJC is owned and operated by Maranatha Assembly of God in Forest Lake, Minnesota. The opinions expressed here are not necessarily those of the owner.